Hi everybody, are you sick? Well, I'm going to show you some things that I use that I've found really helpful. I wanted to do this video, but at the same time I didn't because I was a little bit embarrassed and ashamed, I guess, because I just had it in my mind that I wasn't supposed to get sick. You know, here I am doing videos and things on health and wellness, and another part of it too was because before I became vegan, I used to get sick with colds or flus at least once a year, every single year, and bad ones too. And then the first year I was vegan, I didn't get sick at all. And that kind of went to my head and my ego, I guess. And I thought, oh, so that's it. Now I'm not going to get sick ever again. And that's not true. I actually came down with a cold last week. I had a cold. So anyway, meat, dairy, and eggs, however, do contribute a lot to colds and flus and infections and things. My understanding of why and how we get them, they manifest within us, is that we get this viral, with flu it's a virus anyway, we get this foreign thing, germ or virus that comes into our bodies, and if our immune system is strong enough, it will fight them off and we won't experience the symptoms of colds or flus. But if our immune system is not strong enough to do that, it won't, and then we have a cold or a flu. And I imagine that, the strength of the virus or the germ plays into that some too, as far as how strong your immune system needs to be to fight it off. But the reason I say that meat, dairy, and eggs is a big culprit for giving people colds and flus is because they really lower our immune system. It's all kinds of stress lower the immune system, be it emotional, mental, spiritual, I imagine, or physical. And consuming meat, dairy, and eggs, as well as, highly processed foods, sugar, white refined sugar, that kind of thing. It's really hard for our body to assimilate them and digest them, process it, and get the nutrients it needs out of those things. So it causes a lot of stress on the body, a lot of physical stress and energy. And I think that, when our bodies are having to deal with that, it takes away from our protective system, our immune system. The energy is busy digesting the food, and so we don't have as much energy accessible for our immune system. So, but that is not the only way, obviously, as I've, had reaffirmed and learned. Emotional stress, mental stress, those things can bog down our immune system as well. So anyhow, as a vegan, I did not want to use cold medicine or cold syrups. And it's not just that I'm vegan. These things they're not very natural. When I read the warning label on one in the store recently, it said if you take a little bit too much of it, it can cause severe liver damage. And so that for me just makes me wonder if taking the recommended dose doesn't have some sort of long-term detrimental, harmful effect on our bodies. And so anyhow, these things are tested on animals and often contain animal ingredients. So for those reasons as well, I do not take them if I can help it. So I know, I know that when we're sick, when we have a cold or flu, sometimes it's really hard to think about long-term consequences for what we take, because we're just in so much suffering at the time that it sometimes turns into I'm going to have to deal with the future in the future, because right now I need some relief from this. I can't do it anymore. So I came down with this cold, and it started in my throat. I didn't realize it was a cold at first. I just had a bit of a sore throat. And then it kind of went down into my chest more and up into my head, and I was getting a little bit of headache. I was getting warm, a little bit feverish, and I was having trouble focusing. And then it came down into my sinuses, and I got the full, a runny nose and whatnot. So for the first 3 days, I guess, I didn't take anything. It didn't come into my nose until, I guess, the 3rd day or the 4th day. And then around the 4th day, it was kind of the peak of it. And, it was constant runny nose, and it just really felt horrible. And so I decided to get something, and I got some black elderberry. I've done elderberry last year. I came down with the flu, and I took elderberry, and it was a total lifesaver. Last year I took some elderberry syrup and elderberry tea. But this year I found these, which worked better than I remember cough syrup or cold medicine working. And these are black elderberry capsules, and I was really happy with these because they were more economical than the tea and the syrup, for one thing. For another thing, the only ingredients in these are black elderberry, vegetable glycerine, and vegetable cellulose in the capsules. And I was thrilled about that because the syrup had some other stuff in it. I don't remember exactly what. I know it had flavoring, which I was, very apprehensive to take, but I was suffering a lot, and I did take it. So it had that mystery natural flavoring crap in it, and it had some other stuff. So I was really happy about these, and I started taking these, and they were a total lifesaver. I think they worked even better than the syrup and the tea did last year. They were really great. And about a day and a half, 2 days later, after I started taking this, and the cold really subsided. It was almost entirely out of my nose, and mainly just remains in my throat, my chest. Like right now, I feel entirely better, except every now and then when I cough, it's still in my chest. It's still coming up. So, absolute lifesaver. And the interesting thing about these is they're not sold as a cold medicine, cold remedy, per se. They're sold as a supplement to boost your immune system. So you can take these when you don't have a cold or a flu, just to help keep your immune system up. It's just elderberry. And like I said, lifesaver, works wonderfully. So another thing that I've found helpful also is raisin tea. And to make this, you just take a cup or 2 of raisins and you put them in a saucepan, and you put about an equal amount of water, or a little more water, in there, and you bring it to a boil, and then reduce heat and cook it a minute or 2. Try the water. If it has a taste to it, it should taste sweet. Then it's done, and you just strain it away from the raisins, and that liquid right there is the raisin tea. So the raisin tea helped. It gave me some relief, and it can bring down a fever. It was good. It was really good. However, the elderberry was the lifesaver. I think the elderberry worked longer. Like it gave me relief for a longer amount of time and whatnot. But you're going to be drinking something in between taking capsules or whatever you're doing. So raisin tea has been really great for me. Before I go any further into the video, I just want to say, I'm just sharing my experience with you. And if you have a fever, especially with the flu, but just if you have a fever, you need to do your own research based on what your temperature is, how long you've had it, that kind of thing, what you have going on along with the fever, other symptoms and whatnot, or condition. Because some of the stuff that I'm going to say has helped me with cold is not necessarily what you should be doing if you have a fever, depending on how high your fever is and what it's caused from. It may actually not be in your interest to do these things. So do your own research, look that up, call a physician if you need to, or your mom, whatever. But just so you know, some of the other things that I found helpful, food and drink wise, drinking a lot of clean reverse osmosis water, and juices that are 100% juice, really 100% juice, read the ingredients, and fruits. Something I've tried to do is to eliminate any processed foods that I have, or any sort of junk foods or whatever that I can bear to get rid of. I still drink my morning coffee, but get rid of any of those that I can bear, and to replace them with superfoods, just whole colorful foods, broccoli, yams, lots of fruits, oranges, things of that nature, but also you can get into sea berry, goji berry, wheatgrass, spirulina, those kinds of things. That has proved very helpful for me. Now, if you have a fever, though, depending on the reason for it, if you have a flu and a fever along with it, depending on how long you've had the fever, and how high it is, it may be in your best interest to fast and just have water, because when it gets to a certain point, your body needs to direct its energy away from digesting food and into fighting off that foreign infection that's helping. You have a fever because it's trying to burn off the infection, the germ, or whatever it is. So you might need to take the energy that you're using to digest food and use it to fight this off instead. So like I said, look into that on your own. But teas have also helped me. I drink tea pretty regularly anyway, and a variety of kinds, so I can't say one has helped me more than another, aside from the elderberry and the raisin. But yeah, just the normal things, getting more rest, staying warm, not going outside in the cold if I can help it, and being bundled up if I do, that kind of thing. But this year I decided to pick up this book and see if there was any affirmations dealing with colds. I mentioned this book in another video, but for those of you who didn't hear that one, it's called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise L. Hay. I really found a lot of great stuff in this book that I found helpful and liked. However, she's miseducated or uneducated. I don't know which. I guess miseducated. Both, about diet and food, unfortunately. But like I said, there is a lot of good stuff in here, I feel, as far as affirmations go. Anyhow, she thinks that everything that manifests for us in the physical in regards to illnesses and whatnot is actually coming from negative thought patterns and belief systems. So she has a list in here of all different kinds of conditions, and then she lists possible negative thought patterns and belief systems that have brought this on, and then she gives positive affirmations that you can use to reprogram your brain and help with the condition. So for colds, she thinks, or upper respiratory illnesses, she thinks that the negative belief and thought patterns is too much going on at once, mental confusion, disorder, small hurts, and she has in quotations, "I get 3 colds every winter" type of belief. And her positive affirmation that she gives is, "I allow my mind to relax and be at peace. Clarity and harmony are within me and around me. All is well." So right around the time that I grabbed this elderberry, I also grabbed this book and looked that up, and I started writing that, just over and over again, writing that. And I'm going to look up flu for you too if I can here. Just a second. Sorry. Here we go. So the flu. Oh, it's the influenza. Okay, so a little further along. Okay, influenza. She thinks that this comes about as a response to mass negativity and beliefs, fear, and belief in statistics. And the positive affirmation that she gives for that is, "I am beyond group beliefs or the calendar. I am free from all congestion and influence." So those are some things that have helped me. Thanks for tuning in and listening to me, and I hope that the information helps you out. Again, my total lifesaver has been black elderberry, these Gaia capsules, but I've also been practicing those other things, and I guess that's all. Feel better.